Come on.
Good morning, gents. Good morning, Wormy. What's your pleasure?
Jake, I want you to meet my friend, Mr. He staked me to a bankroll.
Oh, fooling. He must be new around here. This calls for a little celebration, Mr.
Diddlebock. Harold Diddlebock.
Diddle what?
Diddlebock. Bock is in beer.
Oh, I thought you said Diddlebuck. Is it buckwheat cake?
No, I didn't.
Brother Diddlebuck, what's the matter with me?
Bock.
Oh, yeah, Bock. He's in some kind of trouble.
Who is
He's
it?
about to have his first drink.
His first drink? Well, drown my kittens. This is quite a moment. You mean his first this morning? Or really his first ever and ever since he was weaned?
I have never partaken. Now that I've had time to think it over,
Yes, sir.
You never know how the other half lived.
You aroused the artist in me.
it was just an impulse.
Well, obey that impulse. Why don't you have a cigar?
Have a cigar?
Yes, sir. I'd like to make you something. Something you would remember.
I wouldn't want anything, if I had anything at all, nothing potent. You understand?
You'd never feel it.
I was thinking of a Texas tornado.
Oh, not for an occasion like this, Wormy. A tornado's a perfectly reliable commercial drink for conventions and hangovers and things like that. But this is almost, is the word Vestal?
Huh?
I mean, it ought to have organ music.
I wouldn't want anything...
I mean, opportunities like this come along all too rarely for a man with his heart and his work. Tell me, Mr. Diddleback, where were you born?
Oh, what? Nebraska.
Corn. And in what year, please?
1901.
Fine, fine. They distilled some very palatable stuff in 1901. Let me see. I wouldn't do this for everybody.
I wouldn't want you to...
Hey, you leave it to me.
You just leave it to him.
1901. 1901. A sort of meeting of old friends. Brothers under the stars. It ought to help your personalities to get together. Or don't you believe in astrology?
I've never thought much about it. If you're making that for
You
me...
believe in personalities?
I suppose so.
How about posterity?
What? Posterity's just around the corner.
Now, just a couple of technical questions. Would you like it frappé or flambé?
How?
Do you like ice skating or turkey span?
I used to skate a little.
Frappé. Frappé. Now, would you like it sweet or sharp?
I don't really...
How do you take your coffee?
I take milk.
You've answered my question. You prefer showers or sit baths?
Well, we have a shower over the tub, but there's always the danger stepping on the soap.
Vodka. What? With vodka, you don't care what you step on.
You can step on snakes.
Now, wait a minute.
Now, just relax. One final question. Do you prefer the taste of rosemary or wormwood?
Who or who?
Do you like Benedictine or absinthe?
What?
What kind of toothpaste do you use?
Sozadone.
I got you.
If that's for me,
You just leave it to him. What a scientist. Ain't that pretty?
I wouldn't want anything to,
They call him the professor. You just leave it to him. Oh, boy.
Gentlemen, the Diddlebock.
Ain't he wonderful? A genuine genius.
That's certainly very kind of you.
Don't mention it. And if you don't mind, I'll sample a mouthful with you.
Well, I certainly hope you will after mixing up this much.
The artist does not weigh his clay. To your very good health, Mr. Diddlebock.
Here's to you, Mr. Diddlebock.
Ain't that something if I do say so myself?
That's certainly very kind of you. I'm only sorry that you made so much of it. Certainly the last thing I ever expected was to have an alcoholic refreshment named after me. Very attractive aroma. Very mild.
Nothing to it.
I wouldn't say that. But it has always seemed to me that the cocktail should approach us on tiptoe, like a young girl whose first appeal is innocence.
What a poet.
Here's to innocence.
Bottoms up.
Over your ears.
Doggone if he didn't inhale that like an expert.
Welcome to the Brotherhood.
Is that all there is to it?
You are now a member in full standing.
That's very, very pleasant.
Just a little dividend.
Just a drop. You'd never guess that you'd make so many different flavors in it.
Like a poem.
I suppose there is some alcohol in this.
I will not deceive you. There is.
You'd never know it.
That's where the skill comes in. What a scientist. There ain't hardly another mixer in town could do you a thing like that. Oh, boy.
Lovely. Just like velvet. What was that yelling? Did you hear something just then? To innocence. And still more innocence. What is that yelling I keep hearing? Or is it my imagination?
I wouldn't drink too many of them too fast if I were you. You know, just beginning and all.
It ain't as if anyone ever drank a diddlebock before. You can't tell what it'll do to you.
This lemonade. Shake up another batch of it. Shake up a bucket of it.
Oh, wait a minute.
What are you talking about? What are you looking at?
Who, me? Nothing.
Hurry it up. What is that yelling I keep hearing?
Say, is somebody strangling a horse around here?
You know, I thought I heard something.
Everything's under control, Mike.
It was like a sneeze, and yet it wasn't like a sneeze. It was more like, what's the matter? Won't you have a little drink while you're here?
No, thanks. Not while I'm on duty.
The diddlebock isn't really a drink.
Diddle what?
It's just a little thing I invented in Brother Diddlebock's honor.
It's more like a fruit cup, really. A fruit cup with sex appeal.
Thanks, just the same.
Thank you. Very fine fellow.
One of the finest.
There it is again. I could have sworn I heard something.
I suppose I didn't hear nothing that time.
I'm very glad you noticed it, because I did too.
Yeah, don't tell me.
I've been telling these boys about it, but they're not sure. To me, it sounded like a cross between a Mongolian lynx and a wounded moose. Have you ever hunted the Mongolian lynx?
I have not.
How about a wounded moose?
Likewise.
You're probably better off. Why don't you give the gentleman a drink instead of letting him stand there with his tongue hanging out?
Look, before your tongue starts hanging out, you better lay off a couple of them diddle pots. A fine thing at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Who's he talking to? You?
Now, wait a minute. Everything...
Just a moment, officer. My friend may be small, but I want you to know that he's got a heart of gold, and I won't hear one word against him, you understand? When I was in the depths of desperation, the dregs of despair, who befriended me? Not E.J. Waggleberry and Company, not the fellow employees besides whom I toiled for 22 years and whose sorrows I shared as who wouldn't, not the Metropolitan Police Force whose salaries I have paid and whose uniforms I have purchased to keep them warm in winter, cool in summer, and fresh at all times, but yon smolder befriended, when befriended men are nothing, you understand?
You handle him.
Ha! Wait a minute. I just saw it.
So what?
The fellow doing the yelling. He's hiding behind a post there. Probably an escaped lunatic.
I don't see anybody, Mr. Diddlebock.
What do you mean you don't see anybody? You can't see that old crackpot with the spectacles?
Why, that's you, Mr. Diddlebock.
Me? That old tramp? Why, that doesn't look anything more like me. Look at that collar. Looks like a horse collar.
Oh, it ain't so bad, Mr. Diddlebock.
How long have I been looking like this?
You've always looked like that, Mr. Diddlebock, at least ever since I've known you.
Why, this is an outrage. Look at that old scarecrow. Look at that suit. Look at that hat. Look at that face.
Oh, it ain't so bad as all that, Mr. Diddlebock.
It's worse. Why, I wouldn't trust a face like that to empty a spittoon.
Oh, yes, you would, Mr. Diddlebock.
Are you positive that's me?
2 will get you 12.
Then where is there a barber and a gent furnishing outfit? This is a calamity that must be repaired immediately.
Right upstairs, Mr. Diddlebock. Only
what?
Don't you think you better sit down a little while
Sit
first?
down? Why should I sit down? Do I look tired? That's the trouble with the men of today. They don't enjoy. They have no stamina. Look at our forefathers. Look at Washington. Look at Valley Forge. Look at the pioneers. Then look at me. Hey, are you a barber? I'm looking for one.
Yes, but excuse me. Is there a leopard loose in the building or something?
Everything is under control. Men were men in those days. Here, Buy yourself a new suit. You look terrible. They mined the earth and dug the rivers and tamed the wilderness and brought forth peaceful homesteads in the shadow of the eagle and the echo of the thundering herd. And in the final analysis, where are they? I ask you, and I reply, dead, my friends, deader than a boiled mackerel. I thank you.
Are you all right?
A barber and a tailor. A barber and a tailor. A barber and a tailor. And the world is mine. A barber and a tailor.
You better remember what you put in that so it won't happen again.
What's the matter with this?